I'm Zach.
And I'm Darcy. Did you know that pornography doesn't have to destroy you or your marriage? We're the parents of 8 active members of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, and we love to help people just like you.
We're here to share hope and healing as we take you through our journey and the journeys of our amazing clients to greater joy and love. Come grow with us to a happier, more meaningful life. Welcome to the Self-Mastery Podcast. Hey, everybody, and welcome to another beautiful Mastery Monday here on the Self-Mastery Podcast. I'm your host, Zach Spafford. Our 4-year-old is an adorable little girl. And she's out there, she's holding her own in a household of 8 kids and 2 adults. It's not like she runs the place, but man, she holds her own. And she's also what I like to call a tiny human who I find fascinating because she's an open book of emotions. When she's sad, we know it. When she's happy, she wants to share that. When she's excited, I mean, it's just like on her face and in her voice. The other day, Darcy was with her, and she became really pretty upset that she wasn't going to be able to go play with her friends because she thought she was going to be able to. And she started crying, and Darcy just noticed out loud for her, "Oh, you must be frustrated." And then she said, "How does that feel? Do you want to take some breaths and come play with us when you're ready?" And then Darcy just went back to what she was doing. And in the way that only a 4-year-old who is super adorable, super cute, highly articulate, she cried for a moment, and then she took these deep breaths. She was like, just like a little kid takes deep breaths. And then she came back to the fun. And then she, as she was talking about it afterwards, she was like, "Oh yeah, I took my deep breaths and I was ready to play again, so I just came and played." And without realizing it, Darcy and our 4-year-old did exactly the thing that we can do when it comes to dealing with our emotions that will help us be as successful as possible. In acceptance and commitment coaching, we call this dropping anchor or unhooking or diffusion, but it is one of the most effective ways that we can deal with our unwanted or unpleasant emotions, thoughts, feelings, or sensations. And it's quite accidentally one of the skills that we have taught our children, our little girl. Dropping anchor is it's a simple process, and it is a component of what I like to call the 3 secrets to managing emotions around any subject. One of the biggest reasons people choose pornography is because they want to take control of their emotions. We want to take control of our thoughts. We want to take control of our feelings, our sensations, what's going on for us. So let me tell you what I mean by that. It occurred for me quite often that I would be lonely. Maybe I was on a business trip, or maybe Darcy had taken the kids back to Wisconsin to hang out with the family, hang out with the cousins. And I don't know if this has ever occurred for you, but it has occurred for me a lot. Your brain's just like, well, you might as well just look at porn because, it's inevitable. I'll be honest with you, I have had so many clients, that's exactly what their brain is saying to them. It's saying, this is inevitable. And one of the ways that people try to manage that or get it to go away is to fight with it until their willpower runs out or to give into it. Now, I've talked about willpower in episodes 38 and 34, and I'll link to that in the show notes. But suffice it to say that willpower won't get you all the way there, right? If willpower worked, you wouldn't be listening to this podcast. Is that a fair assessment? And giving in will actually make it so that you create this self-fulfilling prophecy that's going to repeat itself forever until you learn the skills that you need so that you can actually stop this. And we do a deep dive on this in the membership and in individual coaching, which you can sign up for at zachspafford.com. But what I want you to focus on here are the 3 secrets to managing your emotions. So imagine that you're in that hotel room or wherever you are, just kind of sit there, go there in your mind, and you can use a situation that is more familiar to you than maybe business travel. Wherever it is that you're giving into pornography or wherever it is that you're overeating or, playing too many video games, whatever it is that you're doing that you're like, this is a behavior I don't want in my life, and I feel like my brain is kind of running it for me. That is where I want you to go emotionally. In that moment that our 4-year-old was there, you can see the secrets that you need to manage your emotions anytime, anywhere. And the three secrets are: you got to become familiar with your emotions. So if you're in that hotel room or whatever situation it is that you are dealing with, you got to know what those emotions are that you're actually dealing with. You got to learn how to diffuse from those feelings, and then you got to practice your newfound skills every single day. So I'm going to teach you what each of these are, and right here. And if you want to learn more, I actually have a free masterclass that you can come to tomorrow night at 8:30 Mountain Time. All you have to do is go to zachspafford.com and sign up for a free call. Click the free call. So, number one, become familiar with your emotions. This is just as simple as creating a vocabulary and seeking to notice and describe your experience. So, start by learning the different emotions that exist. Brené Brown, I've been reading her book Atlas of the Heart. She described a research project where she asked people to describe their emotions, and most people basically offered her 3 emotions that they were aware of. And I don't remember which ones they were, but it was probably like sad, happy, and maybe love. I don't know. But this lack of understanding is keeping us from being able to recognize what's going on for us, as well as being prepared to deal with it. I would say that I'm highly capable when it comes to fixing things, but it is nearly impossible to make a plan on how to solve a problem if you don't know what the problem is. So if you only have 3 emotions, and I joke with people that men are only allowed to have 3 emotions: hungry, horny, and angry. Those are the only 3 emotions that men are allowed to have. You're not if you only have 3 emotions, you're not going to be able to accurately describe what is going on for you. So this is a lot like trying to deal with every home repair with only 3 tools. That may have worked for you for a while, or maybe it works every once in a while, but as things get complicated, a hammer, a screwdriver, and pliers, this is probably not going to be sufficient. In fact, we have a rental unit where the sink was leaking, and I took a pair of channel lock pliers, which are the big pliers that open really big, and a screwdriver to fix the issue, and I ended up needing a special tool that I had never used before, and plumber's putty, which I had used before. And the screwdriver and the channel lock pliers were actually totally useless. Some people call them pipe wrenches, but it's not quite a pipe wrench, but it's channel lock pliers. Anyhow, not important. If you have only 2 tools or 3 tools, it's going to be really tough for you to actually solve a lot of problems in home repairs. And that's the same as having emotions and understanding your emotional state and understanding what your thoughts and your feelings and sensations are in your body. And if becoming familiar with the emotions that you have seems, it's like a hokey or a soft thing to do, then you might want to rethink your position, because those emotions are pushing you around, and they are keeping you turning back to pornography precisely because you aren't capable of naming and dealing with them. I don't think that's a very good strategy. I don't know what you are. I don't want to learn about you because it seems like I might be a namby-pamby man or whatever it is. I don't know. Do people say that? But yet those things are the very things that are pushing you around and keeping you from being the person that you want to be. And if you want a feelings wheel, I would be happy to send you one. Just email me, zach@zachspafford.com, or you can just Google that online. It's just Google feelings wheel online, and you'll get one. So learning what your brain is doing, that's number 1. Number 2 is learn how to diffuse from those feelings. So diffusion is a term that we use in acceptance and commitment coaching that means to unhook from an unwanted thought, feeling, sensation, or urge. When our thoughts push us around or drive us to behaviors that don't meet our moral standards or values, we are hooked by that thought in exactly the same way that a fish is hooked. That thought, feeling, sensation, or urge, it just drags us wherever it wants us to go without much hope of solving for it on our part. The reason that idea can take us where it wants us to go, like the example of feeling lonely while we're on a business trip, is that we don't know how to diffuse or unhook from that thought. So to us, it's real, it's true, and we believe it. So that's why it's hard, because in our minds, inside of our heads, it is the reality that we're living. Our brain offers us a thought, and we go, "Oh, that's true." But here's the thing: you've got to take it out of your head, which is what diffusion does, and observe it objectively. And there are countless ways to unhook or diffuse, from dropping anchor and ACE to NAB, which I've taught in previous episodes and that we learn in depth in the membership. each diffusion technique is slightly different and each has its strengths, but learning a couple will be instrumental in giving you the space that you need to work in so that you can stop letting your mind push you around and that you can choose those values. And in the case of our 4-year-old, the way she diffused with the help of Darcy was basically ACE. And ACE stands for acknowledge the feeling, connect with your body, and that's what she was doing when she was taking her deep breaths, right? And then engage. In this case, the engagement was to go back to play, right? So she took the time, Darcy pointed out the feeling, you must be frustrated. And then she connected with her body by taking those deep breaths. And then she re-engaged in what she was doing without fighting off that, like, I shouldn't feel bad. She just was like, okay, I'm going to go back to playing. And if that feeling goes away, that's fine. But it's not the point. The point is to go back to what you were doing and let that feeling dissipate on its own. And in your case, it might be to engage more fully in your work, or if you're watching sports on TV while you're there in the hotel room, or just in the conversation that you're having with someone. I know that when I would travel for work, I would long for home. I'd be super sad, just lonely, right? You're in a different city, and all you really have is a hotel room and a laptop, and it's just pretty boring. And I would long for the closeness of my family, but when it came time for that actual phone call, I was distracted. I would not actually connect. I would be disengaged. So just being aware of that and saying, okay, I'm gonna do ACE here, or whatever diffusion technique you're doing, acknowledge and connect, and then actually re-engage in what's going on for me. And then the last thing that you need to do, I know this sounds like, oh, this isn't really a secret, but practice is a secret. You got to practice these newfound skills. If you don't practice, you're going to lose, right? Tiger Woods practices. Tom Brady practices. I don't care what's, Mario Lemieux, if you're a hockey fan, practices, or Wayne Gretzky practices. If you are going to be good at something, you have to practice. And I know that's just silly, but it is the truth. And the likelihood that you're going to be good at any of the diffusion techniques or the unhooking techniques right away, or just because you read about them one time, is pretty slim. Just like you wouldn't be able to play golf like a pro the first time you pick up clubs, you'll need to spend some time using these skills regularly. And probably getting somebody to help you adjust as you go through them and maybe offer you new ways to do it. So, feel free to reach out to me. I'd love to help you. Or, just Google, what are some diffusion techniques? This is a process that you need to have so that you can actually be effective at dealing with your emotions. And if I guess they're not secrets anymore because I just told you, but if you use these 3 secrets to manage your emotions and manage your thoughts and feelings and sensations that have been driving you towards pornography use, you are going to be miles ahead of everyone else. This is, what's funny is that this is research-backed. This is evidence-based. So it's not like I'm just making this up because I did it as, a guy who solved this pornography problem. This is exactly what the researchers are telling us now is the most effective way of doing this. And that's what's awesome about this. Like, this was my lived experience. And then turns out somebody's out there researching it, and I find that later, and I'm like, wow, this is exactly how it works. So if you guys want help, if you need anything, feel free to reach out to me. I love talking to people about this every single day. I want to help you. And if you just want to have that conversation, Tuesday, so the 17th at 8:30 Mountain Time, if you go to zachspafford.com/free call, you can register, and it'll be live. So you can ask me your questions. You can get your information. It's going to be awesome. All right, my friends, I love you guys, and I will talk to you next week. Thanks for listening to the Self-Mastery Podcast. Every day, Darcy and I work with amazing men and women to remove pornography from their lives and relationships. If you're ready to take the next step in your journey, let us help you. Sign up for a consult at zachspafford.com/workwithme, and you can set up some time for you or your spouse to meet with me or with Darcy, and we can help you get started on your self-mastery journey. Thanks for listening to Thrive Beyond Pornography. If you're seeking guidance and support to overcome pornography for good and begin creating a thriving life beyond it, check out my free webinar, How to Overcome Pornography with Skills That Actually Work. You'll learn practical, proven skills guided by an expert coach who has personally overcome pornography. Whether you're getting started for just yourself or along with your spouse, Darcy and I can teach you the tools that will help you put your life on the right path for you. Be sure to check out the show notes for a direct link, and if you could take a moment to leave a review wherever you listen to podcasts, it would mean the world to us. Your reviews play a significant role in helping others discover the show so they can join us on this transformative journey. Thank you for being part of the Thrive Beyond Pornography community. Until our next episode, stay strong, stay focused, and keep thriving.